Mr. Vice President, are you prepared to take the oath of office as President of the United States?
I am, sir.
If you will raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Gerald R. Ford, do solemnly swear.
I, Gerald R. Ford, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
The country will always remember that stirring speech of yours when you took over.
My fellow Americans, our long national nightmare is over.
Did you really believe it was over when you said that?
That's an interesting thing. Bob Hartman, who was my principal speechwriter, and Bob put together a draft. I read it, and that phrase, a long national nightmare, sort of jarred me. And I said, Bob, we really ought not to use that. Let's not be too harsh. Let's not be too dramatic. And Bob really put his foot down and he said, that is an accurate expression of what has taken place, and you've got to keep it in the speech. So after thinking about it and talking to Betty about it, we decided to leave it in, and boy, in retrospect, I'm awfully glad we did.
Good evening. We're breaking into regular programming right now to tell you the news that Gerald R. Ford, the 38th President of the United States, died today at his home in California. His widow, Betty Ford, has made that announcement. President Ford was 93 years old. He died at home, surrounded by members of his family, including his wife of more than half a century, Betty Ford. President Ford was the longest living American president at 93 years old. There had been concerns about his health in the last few years. He was active until very near the end of his long life. Gerald Ford was President of the United States for just over 2 years, taking office after the resignation of President Nixon and the Watergate scandal. The country was traumatized and polarized in a way that even our politics did not begin to approach. Gerald Ford was a healer, eminently decent man, modest and honest. The country seemed to rally to his spirit, even though when he pardoned Richard Nixon, it was a source of great controversy and may have cost him re-election to the office of presidency. He was a member of the House of Representatives for 25 years and vice president, being named vice president by President Nixon after the resignation of Spiro Agnew. Gerald Ford is actually the only man ever to be president of the United States who wasn't elected either to be president or vice president. And he died today in California at the age of 93.